Here's a card trick that begins with a mixed up deck of cards, and you'll explain to your spectator that you need exactly half the deck, so you're going to deal out 26 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Now that you've got half the deck separated, you're going to flip that half over, and you're going to shuffle the two halves into each other. You push them about halfway, and then show the spectator they're absolutely getting intermingled. You're shuffling this cards up into a mess. Now you'll take the deck, you can flip the deck over if you want, have them cut the cards if they want. You can flip it back over again, they can cut again. I mean, they can do this as many times as they want until the spectator is satisfied that these cards are mixed up. So one more cut. Now I'm going to ask them to deal into two piles with the face up cards on one side and the face down cards on the other side. Now that the cards are all separated, I'm going to square up the two packs. I want to show them how mixed up they really are. So you can see these cards are a complete mess. With these cards all mixed up, cards are a complete mess. Now I'm going to ask them to tell me what the odds are that they think that I got the cards to match, like the top two cards. Like if I dealt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 cards, or as many as I want, and they dealt cards on top of those, how many of those cards would just match up perfectly? Let's see how we did. We got the king with the king, 2 with the 2, we've got the 4 with the 4, 2 with the 2, and the 10 with the 10. And the cool thing about this trick is that if I had a bigger table and a bigger space, I could have dealt as many cards as I want because the entire deck is going to match up perfectly. The secret to this one is that there is a bit of a setup, but I think it's worth the work. You could do this trick as the beginning of a set. You're done with this trick, you just shuffle the cards and move on to any other trick. So you'll set half the deck up in any order you want, but the other half is going to match those cards exactly. So the 2 black 9s are in the same position, then the 2 red 2s, red 4s, red 2s, kings, 3s, and so on throughout the entire deck. Half the deck repeats itself in the exact same order in the other half. Now take half the deck, pile it on top of the other half, flip the cards over, and you're ready to go. If you're concerned that someone might notice that when you spread the cards out, don't be worried. No one's ever going to see that. But you could start with a false cut, false shuffle if you'd like in the beginning of the trick, but I really don't think that it's necessary to do any of this. But I do have other videos on how to do that if you'd like. Now when you explain that you have to cut the deck exactly in half, so you're going to count off 26 cards, you're essentially reversing the order of the first half. So now the bottom card on this side will match the top card on this side. The second card from the bottom will match the second card, and so on. So when you flip half the deck over, just put the order back in the same exact spot. So shuffling these together really doesn't matter because you're about to unshuffle them in 2 seconds anyway. That's why I spend a lot of time showing them and convincing them that I really am shuffling the cards, because I really am. Push these in together, and then you can let the spectator cut the cards if they want. Cutting the cards does not disrupt the order. It only disrupts the starting point of the order. So they can cut as many times as they want, and you can flip the cards over as many times as you want, because again, you're about to separate the deck anyway. Now you'll separate the deck into 2 piles of face up and face down cards. Now you could let the spectator do this, but I caution you that some spectators don't know how to handle cards the way you do, so it might be better if you just do it yourself. Otherwise, the trick may take half an hour to get done. Now that you've separated into 2 halves, you put the deck right back into the original order they're in. The only thing is the top card on this side might not match the top card here because of when you cut the cards, it could have shifted a couple of cards. That's why you show them that the cards are mixed up so that you can fix that. So you spread these cards out, show them, look, these are all mixed up. And what you're really doing is paying attention to the top card, which is the 4 of hearts. So now when you show them this side is also mixed up, you're looking for that same red 4, which happens to be right here. I'm saying, look, these cards are all mixed up too. And I'm just going to separate my hands while I say that, and I'll just put these back on the bottom. Now I've cut that right back to the top, and now the 2 halves are back in order. Now if you have a big table, you can deal out 30 cards, 20 cards. You can deal the entire deck, as many cards as you want. You ask them to follow you dealing these cards on top of your cards. Of course, they're going to match because they're already in the same order. But if you're working in a small surface, you can just put a handful of cards. Take the rest after you're done, just put them back on top of the deck and move the deck away. And now you've got this beautiful picture here. They don't know what's about to happen. But as you flip them up and they start seeing that every single card matched, it looks like a real miracle. After the reveal is done, you just mix the cards back together, put them back on top of the deck, you do one quick shuffle, and you move on to your next trick.